we just mentioned that we were going to be talking about scams. And just so you know, this say itself, tables and data and analytics and all this analysis were done. And apparently, scam victims in Malaysia, they continue losing a lot of money, and it's close to about more than R1 billion in total over a span of few years. Unfortunately, senior citizens make up to almost R1 billion that they lost over the past few years as well. So this is something actually worrying in today's world, in society, where you have lots of technology, the advancements of it, and which is easily accessible to everybody. And when we say everybody, we're talking about scammers themselves.
Of course, if we want to hear the exact figures, actually, an online portal, on an online news portal recently confirmed that online scams resulted in losses of up to 453 million in 2022 alone. And that increased to 1.2 billion in 2023. And from January to June this year, actually, the losses amounted have been reported to be up to 637 million. So these numbers are not small. They are not small indeed.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that Bank Islam has taken some precautionary measures. They believe that they've blocked up to 2,418 scamming cases from January up to June 2024 this year.
Nice.
So they are Bank Islam heroes, and they claim that they've managed to save at least 20 million ringgit from being scammed.
Wow,
so it's good to know, because the darkness is there, but some people are actually shining the light to this darkness. That's why we would love to invite Mr. Muhammad Aaron MORIFF Muhammad Sharif, who is the Chief Operating Officer from Bank Islam Malaysia itself, to be here and talk to us about these scammers.
Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Okay,
yes,
first and foremost, right, we got to get to the lowdown of today's topic, like on what the amendments are right now made in the parliament and how we can combat scams and stuff like that. Those are the heavier stuff that we're going to discuss about in today's show. But first and foremost, to get a little bit of your understanding and your views, why are scams happening? Of course, they want to get money out of people. They want to fish money out of people. But in terms of us victims, what can we actually literally do?
Well, there's a lot that can be done by the users of internet banking. A lot of it is, I would start with just knowing what is scams and being aware of how they operate. So Bank Islam itself, we do a lot of awareness campaigns whereby we educate the public about the modus operandi of the different types of scams.
Right.
We've all heard about, phone scams, Macau scams, investment scams, job scams, love scams. Yeah. So all of them are there, but it's also an appreciation of how they work. If it's a phone scam, how to identify if it's a phone scam, what to do, whether to put down the phone or do you drag on the conversation and all that. So awareness is at the utmost critical, I would say, when it comes to scam. And then other than that, obviously when we talk about scams, scammers are after our money, right?
Yeah.
Access to our accounts. So I think as users, we need to know that there are a lot of measures that have been put in place to help and assist users to not to fall for scams. I give you an example. So when you log into your account, right, there's always a place where you put in your username, right? After you put in your username, there will be an image that will be flashed. It's called a private image. And this is an image that you have set for your bank accounts. And if it's a fruit, for example, then it's got to be a fruit image all the time. Suddenly, if you log into a website and then it starts to flash out a football, for example, obviously you know that's not the real site, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of measures that we put in place for customers to identify whether it's a fake site or it's a real site. But customers need to be aware, why are we putting private image? Why do we put password, website, page to be different to the username? There is a secret image, a secret word as well, that you need to confirm. So there's a lot of things. Even when you do purchases on FPX, right? So again, there will be a private image. Before you log into, you put in your username, there will be a private image. If it's not the image that you have chosen, then it's probably a fake site. So you need to quickly log out, log into the right site.
My goodness, thank you so much for pointing that out, because half of the time I can't even remember what image I selected.
Oh my God,
You know?
Brandon.
Yeah, no, seriously, because I thought those are just normal images where, yeah, it gets to identify you and all that, but actually it's more than that. It's a security feature, one of it. And now that I know, thank you for saying that, now I'll be more wary and more careful of whatever that I'm doing, especially selecting my images though.
Yeah, and it shows that macam even though you are in your early 30s,
Yeah.
and you should be adapt to this kind of thing by now.
I'm
Brandon.
so sorry.
But you know, sometimes we have some missteps, and that
Correct.
is very, very normal. So there are a lot of things that actually we can do in terms of fighting against all of these online scams. But of course, at the same time, the government needs to do its own thing also. And apparently there's a new amendment to the specific act, Act 574. Maybe we can shed some light on how does Bank Islam view the proposed amendments of the specific act. And this one is regarding mule accounts in parliaments recently.
Yeah. So Act 574 of the Penal Code is to do with crime that is committed, but here it's been amended to include cybercrime or online banking crime, specifically on mule accounts. Okay, so for those who don't know what mule account is a situation where an individual allows another person to use their account for monies to pass through.
Ah, okay.
Right? So what happens is, in a lot of these scams, like Brendan's pointed out earlier, it's actually over the last 3 years, 2.6 billion has been scammed in Malaysia.
Oh, wow.
Right? And in most cases, these scammers don't use their own account. They will actually use mule accounts. So these are students who fall into the trap of enticed by a job offer. Will you lend me your bank account for a payment of, say, 1,500 ringgit per month, right? And it sounds like, oh, that's an easy way, right? Easy money. I don't have to do anything, just loan my bank account, right? But the risk is there. So this Act 574 of the Penal Code is amending that, giving provisions so that it is it is an act, and it is wrong to actually allow your account to be used by another party.
Yeah.
It gets worse when it has been used for crime purposes.
Oh, gosh.
Right? And therefore, the penalty now, Act 574 makes it a lot harsher, not only to the end scammer, but also to the people who allow their accounts to be used, so these mule accounts.
So, sir, could you actually tell us, now that you mentioned mule accounts, where people would just use your account to just transfer money, right? Easy money in that sense. But of course, the purpose is not out there to the people and stuff like that. So, with that being said, you know how we should be particular about our IC, our details and stuff like that, identity card. Would you say our bank account need to be actually private as well? You just don't simply put your bank account out there. Let's say if you do business with another person, you offer kind of services to another person, they will always ask you, can you please share your bank details with us? So where do we go from here? I mean, should it be as private as our identity card or details of our identity card? Or
Yeah. It doesn't have to be. Actually, bank accounts are okay to be shared. But again, just as a precautionary measure, if you don't know who you're talking to, then just
don't share it.
Yeah, especially on your social media, don't share your even IC number. Don't share your bank account, because you're just making it too easy for the scammers out there to imitate or make your friends that this is you, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to avoid that. But in reality, just disclosing your bank account does not allow people access to your bank account.
Right.
What we need to be more, what we need to really hold back and do not share with other people is more of your username, your password. And then sometimes we get these messages, these notifications of confirmation, 6-digit codes, right? Do not share that.
Yeah.
Do not share your debit card 16-digit number.
Okay.
Do not share your credit card 16-digit number. Do not share your what do you call it, your expiry date of your card, and the 3-digit
The
number
TVC.
at the back of your card.
Is that what you call it?
CVC, I think.
CVC, yeah.
My
yeah.
goodness.
So it's more of those numbers that that you really need to keep secure. Bank account numbers, it's actually fine to share, but if you don't know who you're talking to, then
Just
don't share it. Yeah.
Well, that's good to know because as a freelancer, I've been giving out my bank
Exactly.
account number to everyone.
Exactly. So
Especially
that's
to
my
the
concern.
people,
Not
the
bad.
organizers that I've worked with. So it's actually good to know that it's okay to give the bank account details, but not how you log in to your account.
Your username, your
Those are the
TAC
private
code and
information.
stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure that Bank Islam is doing a lot of things to help its customers
Correct.
from being scammed online because I see all of these, fans.
Hashtag
here,
jangan kena
hashtag
scam.
jangan kena scam, and we've talked about the Bank Islam heroes also. So maybe you can tell us on how Bank Islam, what is Bank Islam doing in order to combat mule accounts and also other scams.
So for what Bank Islam, like all the other banks in Malaysia, we're trying very, very hard to prevent people from getting scammed. I think the first thing that almost all of us do is we do awareness campaigns. We go out, again, we talk to the people out there, and we talk to them about what are the modus operandi of these scams and how to prevent from being scammed. Secondly is we work closely with the law enforcement agencies, and we will identify and we will share information with these law enforcement agencies for actions to be taken if we detect that there are scam activities happening. We will also share information if we think your account has been used for mule purposes. Again, so just be careful. Do not share your account and allow other people to use your bank account.
Okay.
I think those are the two things that we do. We've also got like sophisticated fraud detection systems. So these are computers behind it that allows us to easily identify if any transactions look suspicious, and again, if accounts are we suspect that they may be mule accounts. So we don't have to eyeball. There are systems that actually allow us to hasten that process so that we can identify it faster.
And who usually falls victim to these mule accounts?
For mule accounts, it's people who fall into the trap of these advertisements of allowing their accounts to be rented by third parties.
Okay.
And typically these are people who do not are from the lower income group.
I see.
Say students or of the B40s, they fall into this trap. Even housewives, for example,
Right.
they fall into this trap whereby whenever they see this job opportunity of simply sharing your account for a good sum of money, they will actually do it, not realizing that they have been used by these criminals, and criminal money will pass through their account unknowingly to them.
I see.
So this is where Act 574 previously, a lot of these people who allow third parties to use their accounts, they do it without much thinking.
Yeah.
They will just allow it because there's no provisions in the law. But nowadays there is a provision in the law, so it will make it more. It will make them think harder before they actually allow other people to use their accounts.
Okay.
This sounds like a movie, doesn't it?
Oh.
In which there are criminals, the villains, and also we have the guy on the other side who are the superheroes. But of course, not all superheroes wear capes.
Yep.
Sometimes they just have calculators on their tables. So it's good to know that actually we have the Bank Islam heroes as a last lines of defense in between their customers and also these criminals. So maybe you can share with us some of the stories, because apparently from January to June this year alone, around 2,418 cases have been blocked and reported by these Bank Islam heroes. Maybe you can share to us what are some of their stories. Yeah.
There's so many stories, so many interesting stories that I hear on a daily basis that is being shared by my team. I think if I could share two recent cases, one is involving a 55-year-old man who just retired, and obviously he withdrew his money from KWSP into his bank account, and then he got a phone call.
Okay.
Yes, the usual
Typical
phone
stuff,
call.
yeah. Yes.
Someone imitating to be someone from the law enforcement agency, scaring him and all that. So he divulged his banking records, but fortunately we managed to identify and alert him, and he managed to we freeze his account and managed to save his pension money.
Yeah.
You know, so that was one recent case. The other one was we had a case whereby we managed to save 3.9 million from a family of 3 people. So what happened was, it looked suspicious using our fraud detection system. The son's account looked a bit suspicious.
Okay.
So what we did was we called him and we asked him a few questions, and we found out that he actually saved his password in the browser. You know, sometimes when you enter your password, the browser will say, would you like to save your password in the browser?
Never.
Never do that, because once the scammers break into that particular system, they will have access to all your username and all your passwords of all your banking and, you know, all your social media accounts. So never do that. So when we spoke to him, he said, yes, I use this particular system. So we said, okay, better change your password, your details. So that night when he had dinner with his family, he spoke to his father. The father said, oh, I use the same thing. So he got his father to call us. So we managed to intervene for his father, and we managed to intervene for his mother as well.
So, you know, even my own PC, I will never save the password, you know.
You'll never do that.
I'll never do that. I obviously will press never, because what if you lose your PC?
Yeah.
Right? And then the browser and all that, your history, your cookies are still there. People can still access to your bank
Yeah.
records, stuff, and, you know, all of these, I wouldn't say unnecessary, but it's actually very necessary for them to get all the information so that they can actually get the money from your account. But let's talk about the youths these days, right? What kind of scams are they most accessible to?
Youth these days, they are very quick to click. So one of the most common ways of them being scammed is through phishing sites.
Okay.
So phishing is about going into websites that are fake. So they make it look like, say Facebook for example, they make it look like Facebook, and you log into it thinking that you're entering Facebook, but actually it's a fake site. So similarly, they can imitate as Bank Islam online banking site. You enter your username and your password, not knowing that it's actually a fake site. So before you know it, they would have used that credential to actually enter your account,
Your real
right?
Facebook account.
Yeah. So phishing is one. Second is, I'm sure you've heard of malware.
Malware.
So malware is a malicious program that is inserted into your device, and it allows sometimes private information to be sent to the scammer's device, right? So this is usually sent to you via your WhatsApp or Telegram, and then there will be a link or a QR that you click on, and you download that app. I'm sure we've heard of this cheap durian offers, right?
Oh,
So
yes.
Durian.
one
Yes.
durian for 10 ringgit or something like that. So, but rather than purchasing on a legit website,
You're
it says
giving scammers.
just download this program. So when you click that program, that malware will be downloaded into your phone. So those two, and the third one, obviously, the one that is common to us, which is the Macau scams. You will get a phone call from someone who claims to be of a law enforcement agency. They will scare you, and then asking you to reveal your banking details, username, password, and then they will tell you not to tell anyone about this conversation, right? So just don't tell anyone. When actually at the back of it, they will just extract all the money out from your banking.
Yeah, that's funny because you were talking about a guy that almost lost his pension But at the same time, the youth are also susceptible to all these scams. And I will have to say, from my own personal experience, I received a text message from my mobile carrier this month. Yeah, this month. So I received that text that says that I'm supposed to have enough points to win a phone, and I'm supposed to enter my credit card details. And I was bamboozled by the look of the website. It only until actually I looked at the website and I looked at the address itself that I kind of knew that something was up. But thank God, because I was in the shopping mall at that time, my career center was in the mall also, so I went to the center itself, and actually I showed them the SMS and everything, and they revealed to me that it's fake. So it's good to know that you can actually check this with the authority.
You can troubleshoot,
Yeah, you can actually call if you get a message from Indah Water Consortium, for example.
Yeah, correct.
You can actually call them, and maybe it is a good way to verify that whatever you are getting, whether it's true, authentic or not.
Yeah, it's always LHDN that would call you, right? LHDN and Post Malaysia and stuff like that. And they would actually call you and say, okay, look, this is this. And they will give you your name, your IC number, and that's when you get scared and you just won't hang up the phone, because you would know that, hey, these guys, they may be real. And that's where you will kena scam lah. And then, of course, before you wrap up today's show, before today's topic, what kind of advice does Bank Islam have for users to avoid becoming a scam victim?
Our advice is for our users to actually be aware. There's a lot of steps that can be taken, but being aware of there is a lot of scammers out there. I think for today, it's more of being aware not to allow other people to use your account. So those are the things that we advise our customers to be aware of.
Right. Easily said, and of course it's a little bit tough to be aware about this, but of course we wish you well, and you got to stay safe out there. Now, thank you so much for being here with us, Encik Muhammad Iran MORIFF, Muhammad Sharif, Chief Operating Officer of Bank Islam Malaysia. Thank you so much for your information, for all the wonderful insights that you just shared with us and all our viewers who are at home watching. But whatever you do, if you don't know, please don't click the link. And if you need to verify some sorts of information and all that, especially like Nabil here, when people called him and he was almost victimized, but he made that extra last bit of check to ensure that it's legit. That's what he did. That's why he was safe. Just whatever you do, just be careful out there.
Yes, of course. Call your banks, make sure all the informations are valid, and if you are a Bank Islam customer, then you know what to do. You can just call 997.
Exactly.
Hashtag jangan kena scam.
Jangan kena scam.
Yeah, that's all very
Jangan
easy.
jadi mule as well.
Jangan jadi mule also at the same time.
And right now, of course.
Yeah.